Hailie Deegan is one of the most recognizable names in modern-day NASCAR. She is someone who has proven to transcend the sport itself and can fit in well into a more mainstream setting. But she also is highly opinionated and highly controversial. And the latter of those, it was put on full display in her recent Twitch stream.
This is fun. Oh, hey, who's the behind me? Don't do that, please.
So yeah, not the greatest look for both herself and NASCAR as a whole. Is it the end of the world? Nope. Is it as bad as Kyle Larson's screw up? Nope. But is it something that helps the sport grow? Again, problematic? Nope. What this was the first live stream that Deegan has done on Twitch. And from experience, I can tell you that live streaming is a lot more difficult than people make it out to be. I've done hundreds of live streams over the last 3 years, and even at this point, I can still say that I do wrong things. I screw up live all the time. You know, it's actually kind of funny if you think about it. But there's no way to edit something out when you're live. There's no way to go back and fix it. There's no post when you're live. So in the heat of the moment, she screwed up, and she screwed up really big. NASCAR has issued that she needs to be sent to sensitivity training with no other punishment other than that. Some are calling for more punishment, more money punishment, more even points. I think that's over the line. And really, I think that a lot of these reactions are complete overreactions. Though I would say for many, that is more due to ideological prejudice, I guess you could say. I really think that it's a lot of bias against her because of some of her beliefs. And we'll get to that later. That's not something I'm just going to gloss over. When you strip this situation down to its core, this is a teenage girl saying something dumb on the internet. And for anyone who is watching this who is older than 20, you can't tell me you didn't say something stupid, mind-numbingly stupid when you were a teenager. It's just how it is at this age. It's not an excuse though. Rather, a chance to learn, hence the sensitivity training. And aside from those who have experience with this word, with some kind of personal reasoning, most people have had to learn this on their own. People acting like this girl just committed a heinous act that is unforgivable, you need to buck up. Because in all honesty, she didn't do something that most middle schoolers do on a regular basis. And you don't think they're horrible people. The feigning of outrage is only going to downplay this for not only Deegan, but for most normal and even-keeled people. It's not a way to get your point across. Now, I don't think this would have caught as much flack had Deegan not made herself a controversial figure in the last year and a half or so. Now, this first started out as Deegan causing stress for many of the fans and other drivers with her aggressive driving style. And you know what? I personally am fine with this. This is the type of controversy that drivers should be making instead of social media BS. This is how a driver can really make a name for themselves. So that's nothing out of the ordinary for me. People like Kyle Busch have done this a lot early in their careers as well. If anything, I personally encourage it because for people like me who cover the sport, it makes the discussion so much more fun for both me and the fans watching at home. So you don't have any major concern there from people like me at least. Now, a big one at the start of the year that really gathered a lot of press and controversy was at the Daytona 500. Not for anything racing related, but more for being a big fan of the Grand Marshal. Who would that be, you ask? Well, let's be real, you already knew that was just rhetorical. United States President Donald J. Trump. With how polarized American politics have become, you kind of see this coming. I mean, you can guess that this didn't really go well with a large portion of the fan base. And contrary to popular belief, NASCAR has a pretty diverse fan base, both ideologically and just in general. This also is applicable with the wider US audiences as well. You're basically gonna be cutting them down the middle with this one. This is a hill that many people are willing to die on. This is one where I personally don't care, but I again can see why people do. When it comes to politics, you're generally gonna have to split your fans, not in half, but you're gonna have to split them. So you have to understand that. And if she and her team around her is okay with that, then that's her prerogative. The big one recently, though, that many remember is Deegan alluding to the COVID pandemic being a hoax. This one, in my opinion, would be actually the most egregious. You can say how it should be handled. The reaction to COVID might be better or worse based on what you think should happen. Whether that means locking more down or just opening up more and letting businesses run, go for it, debate it. That's what we should have in America, exchanging ideas. But saying complete false statements like this is at best ignorant. Ask anyone who has worked in a hospital or an ER since the start of this thing, and they can tell you just how real this has been. But again, I must say, she's a teenager, and teenagers say some really stupid shit. So what's the solution here for Deegan? I think her PR team needs to be caught up to date with the modern media. Today's media and people in general are very soft, and they will pile on with every little thing that happens. And that's exactly what her PR team has let happen. An ongoing death by 1,000 cuts. I don't know who is helping her with this. I really don't. I don't have this insider knowledge. It could be a real PR team. It could be her father. I don't know. But what they need to do right now, in the short term, is get the camera off of her for a bit. The short-term losses of exposure will pay it forward in her perception overall in the long term. While she is a social media force and an influencer, she is a race car driver first. And the last thing she needs this early in her career are small boneheaded moves, basically earning her a label like the Jake Paul of NASCAR. Because while she has tons of potential, that's almost entirely what her career is at this point, potential. One K&N win isn't going to be looked back at as a noteworthy accomplishment in 20 years. Winning national touring races will be. Truck Series races, Xfinity races, and Cup races, championships. Those are the big things that she needs to be looking at. Not how many likes she gets on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, whatever you want it to be. That's my job here. I mean, let's be real. That's how you're listening to me. So to conclude, I think Hailie Deegan should have been called out. But I also think the reaction was a bit overboard. And since she's getting taught what was right and wrong about what she did, I really think that people should back off. She's apologized as well. That's as much as she can do right now. I think people should back off. Now is not the time for dogpiling. But now, I want to pass it on to you. What is your perception of Hailie Deegan? Has it changed in the last year or two? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content like this video. And until next time, have a good one.